To my dismay, I found no one. But as I turned to leave, the statue cornered me in the cubby in the back. I tried attacking the statue with my sword, but to no avail. Confused, and back into a corner, I stared at the statue, waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the happy masked salesman, and Link turned to face my screen, standing upright mirroring the statue, looking at me along with his copy. Literally staring at me. Whatever was left of the fourth wall was completely shattered while I ran out of the dojo, terrified. Suddenly, the game warped me to an underground tunnel, and the reverse song of healing queued up again. As I was given a brief moment to rest before the statue started appearing behind me again, this time aggressively. I could only take a few steps before it would summon behind me. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in Southern Clock Tower. As I ran aimlessly, in sheer panic, suddenly Redhead screamed, and the screen faded to black as Dawn of a New Day and appeared again. The screen faded in as I was standing on top of the clock tower with Skullkid hovering above me again. Silent. I looked up, and the moon was back, looming just meters above my head. But the Skullkid just stared at me, hauntingly, with that fucking mask. A new song was playing. Stone Tower Temple theme played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired off a shot at the Skullkid, and it actually hit him. And he played an animation of him reeling back. I fired again, and on the third arrow, a text box appeared saying, "That won't do you any good." And I was picked up off the ground, levitated upwards on my back, and then Link screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I had never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skullkid himself didn't have any moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body was still burning. The Skullkid laughed and the screen faded to black, only to have me reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened. Link's body was lifted off the ground by some unknown force, and he immediately burst into flames, again killing him. At this time, the faint sounds of the Song of Healing could be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed that there was no music playing this time. That all there was the eerie silence. I remember that in the original encounter with the Skullkid, you were supposed to use the ocarina either to travel back in time, or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded into flames, and he died. As the death screen neared its end, it began to chug, as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the scream came to, it was the same scene as the first 3 times, except this time, Link was lying on the ground, dead, in a position I've never seen in the game before. His head was tilted towards the camera, with the Skullkid floating above him. I couldn't move. I couldn't press any buttons. All I could do is stare at Link's dead body. After 30 seconds of this, the game simply fades out with the message, "You've met a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking you out to the title screen. Upon getting back to the title screen and starting again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead of Link, it was replaced with Your Turn. Your Turn had 3 hearts, 0 masks, and no items. I selected Your Turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the clock tower rooftop scene of my Link dead, and the Skullkid hovering over, with the Skullkid's laugh looping again and again. I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game booted up again, there was one more save file added. I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game booted up again, there was one more save file added, below Your Turn, entitled Bin. Bin's save file is right back where it was before I deleted it, at the Stone Tower Temple, with the moon almost crashing. I turned off the game at that point. I'm not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up, even for me. I haven't played it at all today. Hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse Song of Healing music in my head and just remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring Clocktown. I drove back to the old man's house today to ask him some questions with a buddy of mine. No way was I going there alone. only to find there's a for sale sign in front of the yard, and when I rang the doorbell, no one was home. So now I'm back here, recording the rest of my thoughts. Sorry if some of this has errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game, even more so now that I relived it a second time, recording all of this. I feel like there's more to it than meets the eye, and that there's something calling me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know what. And if I could get a hold of the old man, then I would be able to find some answers. I need another day or so to recuperate before tackling this game again. It's already taken a toll on my sanity. But next time I do this, I'm going to be recording my footage all the way through. The idea to record only came to me towards the end, so you see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the elegy statue, but it's on YouTube here. I'm going to stay in this thread for a little while longer before I fall asleep to answer any questions you guys might have, or hopefully listen to your ideas or theories to help me shed some light into this. Or maybe things I should try to do. I think I'm going to play Ben's file tomorrow to see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in this paranormal shit, but this is a little fucked up. But maybe this Ben guy is just a really good hacker or programmer. I don't want to think about the alternatives if he isn't. That's the end of the copy-paste. I'm hoping that maybe this is some sort of running gag the developers had and that other people have gotten gagged or hacked copies of the game like this. This just really scares me.